Good evening and welcome to our second episode of Sports Hour for the spring semester. I'm Kevin Syracuse alongside Meyer Mikulski he's our NBA analyst tonight. And before we get to the NBA, time for some Fredonia Sports. So the Fredonia Blue Devils baseball team split their opening tournament this past weekend in Myrtle Beach. They defeated Lehman College on Friday, split with the College of Staten Island on Saturday, and then lost to Manhattan College on Sunday. The Blue Devils are now headed to Florida for a week-long tournament over spring break. The softball team opened up their season in Virginia, but left still searching for a win. Friday's games versus Emory and Henry and Wilson College were canceled due to the weather, and then the Blue Devils dropped both of their games on Saturday to Virginia Wesleyan and Keene. The ladies are also headed to Florida for a week-long tournament over spring break that will start this Friday. And finally, the Fredonia women's lacrosse team scored 7 straight goals in the second half Sunday to defeat SUNY Poly 24-18 on the snow-banked University Stadium turf. Allie Kuhn led the scoring attack with 7 goals and 6 assists. Madeline Haney added 6 goals. Alyssa Kissel had 5 goals. Kayla Purcell had 3, and Natalie Prims had 2. Bridget Carey made 9 saves in the Fredonia goal. The Blue Devils next play on Monday, March 11th, against Smith College in Englewood, Florida. So all these teams are headed south, Meyer. Soaking up that sun. All right, so for the NBA, we'll start taking a look at the standings, and then we're going to get into some of the news and rumors that's going on. So as of now, in the Eastern Conference, Milwaukee is in first place with a record of 48-16, and then right behind them is Toronto with a record of 46-18. In third place is Indiana. They are 41-23. Fourth is Philadelphia. They are 40-23. Fifth is Boston, who is pretty much starting to fall apart, Meyer. They have a record of 38-26 now. Sixth place, Detroit. They are 31-31. Right behind them is Brooklyn. They are 33-33. And then Orlando and Charlotte are tied for that 8th and final spot right now. Orlando has a record of 30-35. Charlotte with a record of 29-34. And then right behind them, it's a 3-way tie. Miami is also 29-34. So pretty packed Eastern Conference here, Meyer.
Yeah, I believe that at the end, I think since Miami has been there, I think they'll get that final spot. And you want to go over the West?
Now we can talk about the East first, and we'll head over to the West.
Got it. I believe the Pistons, they've been playing great basketball recently, so I believe they're solid, especially with the play of Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond of late. And
then Reggie Jackson too has been really coming on.
And the Brooklyn Nets, they've been slumping a little bit, but they'll be a tough out in the playoffs with their grit and their scoring with D'Angelo Russell and Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell's had a great year this year. He even said the other day, he said that he's going to take home comeback player of the year this year. And I mean, honestly, I think most improved, yeah. Honestly, I think I'd give it to him because he's had a great year.
There's a lot of candidates out there, like Siakam would be another one from Toronto.
Him too. Yeah, that's a good point. He could win. And then, for that 8th and final spot, I got to believe, if I were to choose right now, I would say Miami's going to get it just because of the experience that they have with Dwayne Wade. And I know he's old and this is his last year, but he can still do it. We saw that with his game-winning 3-point shot the other night. That was awesome. But, I mean, Charlotte's having a really good year with, well, I won't say really good, but they're decent with Kemba leading them.
They're only going to go as far as Kemba takes them, though.
Yeah. And then Orlando, they're having not a great year, but better than what we've seen in recent years.
To be honest, I didn't have much faith in them in the beginning, but they've been proving me wrong.
Yeah, and then for the top 5 here, I mean, Milwaukee's just been outstanding this year, and now they re-signed their guy, or one of their guys, Eric Bledsoe, 4 years, $70 million, and he showed why he deserved that contract extension the other night against the Lakers.
Yeah, he was balling. The only thing is that he's going to be 33 years old when his contract ends, so I don't know how that's going to go. Like, is he going to decline? Time will tell.
Yeah, and then Toronto, I mean, we've been talking about them in these last couple episodes, and you just mentioned Siakam. He's been playing great. Kawhi, Kyle Lowry. Then I love the addition of Marc Gasol. I think he was a missing piece.
And Ibaka's been playing well, too.
Yeah, and Ibaka, yeah. But, I mean, Toronto, they always struggle once they reach the playoffs, but I think this is a year when you get two proven guys like Kawhi and Marc Gasol. I think they can get them over that hump this year.
Yeah, they're not the same Toronto team because before they were only going to go as far as DeRozan and Lowry are going to take them.
Yeah, and the only real experience that DeRozan and Lowry had were
the conference finals.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what they did as Raptors. So, I mean, now you get Kawhi, who's been in the finals. He's won a final. Marc Gasol's had a couple playoff runs himself.
He's been
Memphis.
to conference finals before.
So, I think this is definitely a great year for Toronto. Then right behind them is Indiana. I mean, with Victor Oladipo going down, they've been able to step right up.
They still managed to maintain.
Yeah. I mean, take a look at some of their stats here. Bojan Bogdanovic has been playing great. Domantas Sabonis, Wesley Matthews, they just picked him up after the Knicks waived him. So he's been playing good.
Miles Turner,
Thaddeus Young, Darren Collison, Tyreek Evans. I mean, a lot of guys. They don't have a lot of stars, but they have a lot of solid pieces.
Yeah.
And they play together, which is important. And then after Indiana,
it's Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia. I mean, after that trade, getting Tobias and Bobby and Toby.
Yeah, on paper, they look like they could be a threat to the Celtics.
And then last thing I'll say about the East is the Celtics are just completely falling apart right now.
Like, they have all the talent in the world, but they've been having a lot of chemistry issues of late. And it's showed in their play.
And now there's a report that Kyrie Irving has reportedly become, in quotes, disengaged and detached as the Celtics fall apart. So, I mean, with all the rumors circulating around him going to New York or L.A. or anywhere else, you know, it seems like it's starting to get to him now because they were filming him as he was walking in to the arena, and he was like, I didn't sign up for this expletive. And he just wants to play, and he's you can tell the media is starting to get to him.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, they were supposed to be one of the best, if not the best, Eastern Conference team this year. So, definitely a down year for them. So, I mean, we'll see how mentally tough they are.
Yeah, it goes to show, like, when times get tough, that's when the true colors show.
Yeah. All right, so switching to the West now. Golden State, first place, 44-19.
That's no surprise.
Yeah. Denver right behind them, 2 games back, 42-21. OKC, 39-24. Also, Portland is 39-24. The Rockets have moved into 5th place, 38-25. Utah's in 6th, 36-27. The Clippers, 37-29, and the Spurs, 36-29. So those would be the 8 teams that would make it if the playoffs started right now. And then right behind them, 3 games back, are the Kings, 32-31. And then the Lakers, 30-34, which is
5.5 games.
Yeah, 5.5 games, and that's just a whole another topic in itself. So before we get to that real quick, pretty much these top, the 3 through 6 teams here, they were all like towards the bottom of the conference as the year started.
Yeah.
But now, you know, Russell Westbrook and Paul George are leading the Thunder. Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum are leading the Trailblazers. James Harden, of course, is leading the Rockets. Donovan Mitchell is leading the Jazz. I mean, and other guys too. But that just shows how these star players have reacted. Because, like I said, there was a few weeks into the year, a lot of these teams were 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seeds, but now they're back into the top. So, So for the Lakers, I mean, they're another mess. They're just like the Celtics, but even worse because it's LeBron.
And people expected them to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I think the real reason why they're in the position they're in right now is because they haven't been beating the teams they're supposed to beat. And they're playing with this mentality like they've done something when they really haven't.
Yeah, and LeBron might miss the playoffs for once. And
I mean, he's missed the playoffs before. But
yeah, but like, I mean, what's he been to, like 5 or straight 6 championships?
Eight straight finals.
Oh, geez, I forgot it's 8. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they lost to the Suns the other night, one of the worst teams in the league.
And
they lost to the Clippers, the Bucks. I mean, that's understandable.
But they were up against the Bucks.
Yeah, and they lost to the Grizzlies, the Pelicans.
That's what I'm saying. You have
the Hawks.
You have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what they're made of too, because a lot of young guys, and you can tell LeBron's frustrated. He's not. There's a lot of times where I'm seeing clips on Twitter and stuff where he's really slacking on defense.
Yeah, they're giving them the James Harden treatment now.
Yeah. And I mean, there's 18 games left. I even heard rumors today that it's time for LeBron to like shut down for the year and just focus on next year. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
I wouldn't give up on it just yet because 18 games is a lot of games.
And I don't know the exact details of his contract, but he is making plenty of money. And there is no reason for him to sit out. I mean, you're LeBron James. You better be playing. They're not even out of it yet. They're just 5.5
And the
out.
fans are there to see you play.
Yeah. So, all right, that'll do it for our NBA segment. Thank you for joining me, Meyer. And coming up next, we'll have a familiar face. Joe's coming on to talk some hockey.
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Each one of our journeys keeps us before you throw it away.
Hey, I have an idea.
Think outside the box.
We'll never get older. Each one Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
And welcome back, and we are welcomed with Joe Sierra, who's making his return to Sports Hour. Joe, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Pretty good. I like the Vegas hat.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, since this is our first time talking hockey, let's just get right into it. What are your thoughts about the Sabres?
Oh, my gosh.
The Sabres are his real team. He likes Vegas, but we'll talk about the Sabres.
We're Sabres fans, unfortunately, but they haven't been doing as well as we thought they would. They started off hot, with a nice 10-game win streak, but as you know, they declined really fast, and I just have no words for them anymore.
I don't think anyone does.
No.
I'll try to find some. So, I mean, it's just getting to the point now. I mean, I won't say obviously, but it's pretty unlikely that they're not going to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, probably not.
It just stinks because, like you said, they started out so hot, and now they just fell off the face of the earth pretty much. They went from first place to 21st, and it's just mind-boggling how they can, like last night, they're up 3-1. They gave up 3 goals in 3.5 minutes,
Yeah, it's just
and
ridiculous.
then lost 4-3. And then did you see a couple times?
Did you see Palmerville's goal?
Well, first, Jeff Skinner had an open chance, and I won't say anything about Jeff Skinner because he is our savior this year. But he missed an open net, and then Palmerville literally stopped himself from scoring. I mean, that just literally sums up our season in one play right there.
It's, I think a lot of it has to come down on the coaching. You know, I wanted to have faith in Phil Housley, but he's just not doing the job, and I think we should get rid of him. Maybe give him one more year, but if this is how it's gonna go, then we gotta get rid of him. I think
Housley deserves another year. I mean, they have made a lot of improvements in the last year, but if it's the same next year where they're blowing leads, if they can't win the games that they're supposed to, if they start off really hot in the season and then just fall off the face of the earth again, I think it's definitely time to part ways with them.
Yeah. Well,
I think you got to give them another year. But, I mean, it's just so annoying when countless times they don't get back on defense and they give up the easiest goals. I mean, yes, the goaltenders haven't been playing the best, but at the same time, a lot of that's because
of the defense.
Yeah, the defense is just slacking.
You're not going to win any games when your defense is just letting guys walk through. You're not challenging them, and you're just leaving your goalie out to dry, and it's not good. I mean, Linus Ullmark, he could very well be the future of the Sabres, and we're not giving him any credit because he's letting in so many goals, but that's our defense's fault.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pickup of Brandon Montour.
Yeah, that was a solid pickup. I'm happy with that transaction, and we'll see what we can do with him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like it, but at the same time, it's not enough right now. We definitely need a huge overhaul in the offseason. A lot of key free agents coming up too, and I mean, just taking a look at the last few games here. I mean, you're not going to get in the playoffs if you. In their last, let's see, 5 games, they lost to Toronto, they lost to Philadelphia, they beat the Penguins, they lost to Toronto, and then Toronto.
We got lucky to beat the Penguins.
Yeah, and then they lost to Edmonton. So, with 17 games left, or however many it is, somewhere around there, you're not going to get in the playoffs if you lose 4 out of 5 games.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
They need to win these games. I mean, and it's obviously we're out of time to say, oh, they're a better team than us, we'll get it back the next night. No, you got to beat these teams. It doesn't matter how good they are. You got to go out and play your best every night, and even if you're playing Tampa Bay, who's incredible this year, you can't expect to lose. You got to go out and win.
Well, I mean, most of our losses are pretty much 1-goal games. I mean, you can't say that we're completely out of it every game. I mean, we're still fighting, but it comes where you have to close out those games, and you just gotta get pucks deep, and you just gotta capitalize on your scoring chances, and your defensemen have to step up, and I don't know, you just gotta show more leadership, I guess, from your coach.
Yeah,
I blame a lot of it on the coach.
Yeah, I do think a lot of it's on him, but like I said, I still don't want to fire him, but I do think a lot of it's on him because, like I've always said, yes, professional athletes, if you're a pro athlete, you better come ready to play, but at the same time, they're human beings. They're going to go through waves of emotions, and as a coach, you got to be able to get them, they might be here and they might be here. You got to give them right in the middle and get everyone on the same page.
You're exactly right.
All right, so looking at the standings now, Washington in the Metropolitan Division, Washington.
There's really no surprise there.
Yeah, they have 83 points, followed by the Islanders with 81. They're having a great year. Carolina,
they're sneaking into the wild card, I see.
And that's the perfect example of a team who knows that they need to win, and they're winning. And the Sabres know they need to win, and they're losing. And Carolina, on paper, the Sabres are better than Carolina. And that just shows what playing hard and playing together can do to a team.
All falls down on that coach.
Yeah, and coaching too, yeah. So in the Atlantic, Tampa, 50, 12, and 4, 104 points. Amazing.
They're just on a tear this season.
Yeah,
it's unreal how well they're playing. They have the leading scorer, Nikita Kucherov, with over 100 points, and arguably the best goaltender in the league, and Vasilevsky, who could very well win the Vezina. I don't see anybody stopping them.
Any award winner could come from Tampa this year.
Yeah.
They're that good. So after Tampa, it's Boston and Toronto, 87 and 86 points in the wild card. Pittsburgh and Montreal, they each have 77, followed by Columbus, Philadelphia, and Buffalo. And Buffalo has 68 points, 66 games, so 16 games left. Sorry, I'm a little slow on math. So they're 9 points out. It doesn't seem likely. They're not eliminated yet, but like I said, it doesn't seem likely for this year, especially with how they're playing. Then in the West, we have Winnipeg, Nashville, and St. Louis. In the Central Division, Pacific is Calgary, San Jose, and Vegas, Joe's second team.
Of course.
And then in the wild card, Dallas and Minnesota, they each have 71 points, followed by Arizona, Colorado, and Edmonton, 69, 68, and 65 points. So any predictions for the West?
Well, I don't really keep up with the West a lot. Obviously, I'm a big Vegas fan, but I could definitely see, Winnipeg trying to make another run again. They've been solid, and
Winnipeg's sneaky good.
Yeah, with the acquisition of Kevin Hayes that that just happened.
And of course, with Patrick Laine.
I could see them definitely making a run at the Cup this year, and I don't know, Nashville's always in it, and
then they got Wayne Simmons, and they got someone else too. I can't think of his name right now.
I forget.
They had two big deals at the deadline, but Nashville, I think they could contend for a cup this year. But
speaking of Nashville, they're playing Minnesota tonight.
Yeah, so let's get into some of these games and some of our predictions. This is bothering me now. I gotta figure out who they acquired, but
yeah, they're playing Minnesota right now.
So yeah, we'll get into that. I'll figure that out later. So yeah, Nashville, Minnesota, and that's two good teams, two good teams that are fighting for the playoff spots. So who do you think is going to take that one?
Well, as I was just praising Nashville, I hope they'd win. I'm not really the biggest Minnesota fan, just because I love Vegas.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, they acquired Michael Granlund from the Wild for Kevin Fiala. So I knew there was another trade, and it happens to be against two teams that are playing against each other right now. So yes, so they also got Michael Granlund. Yeah. All right, sorry, I feel better.
But I'm still gonna go with Nashville on this one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Nashville too. Then we have Washington and Philly.
There's two big games tomorrow. Washington and Philly, and St. Louis and Anaheim. You know what? I'm gonna go with Philly for this game, just because I'm not the biggest Capitals fan, and I think Philly can be a little bit of a dark horse if they can make it into the playoffs. And with St. Louis and Anaheim, Anaheim's really mediocre at best, and so maybe I'll take the Blues in that game.
Yeah, I'll take the Blues too. Ryan O'Reilly's been playing really well, of course, because he leaves Buffalo. He plays well. He found his love for the game again.
Yeah, he wasn't really happy here, and you could just tell. But I'm glad he found a home.
Yeah, I'm happy for him.
Where he can produce.
For Washington and Philly, I'm going to take Philly because they're another team. They're like Carolina. They know they need to win, and they've been winning, and they've been playing well, and I think they're going to ride that momentum, and I think they're going to defeat the Capitals. And then we have a huge game Thursday.
Columbus and Pittsburgh.
Columbus-Pittsburgh, yeah. Who you like in that one?
That's definitely going to be a toss-up. I really don't know who I would pick in that game. Pittsburgh's obviously that powerhouse, even after all these years. But, Columbus, they've been good for the past couple years, and so.
Artemi Panarin has been tearing it up this year.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd probably say just Pittsburgh, just because. They're Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So Pittsburgh is 34th, 22-9. Columbus is 36th, 26-3. So, they have 75 points. Pittsburgh has 77. So, pretty similar records, but even more similar with the points. So, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm going to go Columbus here. Yeah, just because I like the way Panarin's been playing. Bobrovsky's having another great year in the net. And Pittsburgh's, I'm slowly starting to see them on the decline.
Yeah, you still got the
big three with
arguably
Crosby, Malkin, Kessel.
The best player in the world. I don't know if McDavid's taken that spot yet, but he still has Sidney Crosby, and Matt Murray's still solid between the pipes.
All right, last two, both Sabres. Buffalo versus Chicago on Thursday, and then the Sabres versus Colorado on Saturday.
Buffalo, both games.
Is that your heart or your brain talking?
Both. I don't know. Chicago's not that good.
Yeah,
Neither
I'm just
is
thinking of when they
Colorado.
beat us 7-3 a couple weeks ago.
Neither is Colorado, so I'm going to take Buffalo both games.
Yeah, Colorado was having a good year. They've started to slip a little bit. I'm going to take Chicago, and then Chicago over Buffalo, and then Buffalo over Colorado. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully the Sabres can get back to their winning ways. I don't know if they will, but I'm hoping. So thanks for joining us, Joe, and we'll have Crescenzo on for our next segment.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
You've messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
Había un niño que era muy sensible a luces y sonidos. Construía escondites donde no podían entrar. No le gustaba mirar a la gente a los ojos. Lo hacía sentir incómodo. Un día se descubrió que tenía autismo. Con ayuda poco a poco aprendió a vivir mejor con ello.
Mientras más pronto se diagnostique, mejor. Conoce las señales en autismspeaks.org.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals 25.
Good job!
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone the cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates. Our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can. Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
All right, welcome back, and Crescenzo joins us now to talk some MMA. And Crescenzo, what do you think about this weekend's fights?
You didn't watch the fights? Oh, come on.
I was in New York City.
Yeah, that is true. Let me just say this. I mean, the card was already stacked, and we kind of knew it already. But I think it was better than what people were really expecting. There were a lot of memorable fights. This was one of them that like no one was even talking about, and it was the first fight on the prelims on ESPN at 8 o'clock on Saturday. Diego Sanchez versus Mickey Gall, and I'll tell you what, Diego Sanchez is 37 compared to Mickey Gall's 27, and Diego wiped the floor with Mickey. I mean, takedowns, he was being aggressive, and that was one of the issues I had last week when I gave my prediction. I gave Mickey Gall, the biggest problem was that he was only a submission artist. And because of that, he had nothing else to his game in his arsenal, unlike the experienced Diego Sanchez. So when Diego came out, he weathered the storm. Mickey Gall looked huge compared to Diego Sanchez. You know, he's more of like a 55-pounder, but can fight at 170. I feel like he's better at 170, and was able to really take the floor and be able to destroy Mickey Gall. And it wasn't even close. It was actually his first finish in 11 years. So we submitted him, and that's just remarkable for a 37-year-old. I'd never seen Diego Sanchez look as good as he did, and it is really, really impressive of what he's doing right now.
All right, Jeremy Stevens versus Zabit.
Yeah, I won't make you say his last name, so don't worry. It's Magomed Sharipov. That's his last name. Yeah, trust me, don't worry. It took me so many times just reading it over and over just to even get his name. I felt bad for Stevens because I felt like this was such a tough fight, and he was so close with his power shot. Like if he landed with his right hand, he would have knocked Zabit to the floor. But the problem was he relied too much on it, and which I'm going to explain later, because in the co-main event, it was almost the same thing. He relies too much on his power and not enough on his technique. So Zabit was able to be a technician, use that reach, use that length, and be able to really just keep his distance with Stevens. And that was just the quote of the fight. You know, that was really it. I had it a lot closer than what the judges thought, and the judges didn't really see it that close. I thought it was a lot closer. But Zabit is the real deal. I mean, he's been training mixed martial arts for his whole life. His parents actually sent him away in a boarding camp to learn mixed martial arts. So, I mean, this guy is definitely for real. And if anyone's watching, you got to be scared of this guy. You do. And if anyone is out there that loves betting on MMA or anything like that, I would bet this guy. This guy is the real deal.
All right, so Cody Garbrandt versus Pedro Munoz.
I love this weight class, and the reason why is because I'm a
What's the weight class?
It's at bantamweight, so that's 135 pounds. That's one of the most complex weight classes out there.
Yeah, pretty light.
And it is pretty light, but there's a lot of talent in that weight class. I mean,
did you take him?
I did not take Cody Garbrandt.
I said, could you take him?
I? Oh, no. Are you kidding? Do you want me to die? I don't know. Anyway, Cody Garbrandt versus Pedro Munoz. I said it after Cody lost the second fight to TJ Dillashaw. TJ exposed something for Cody, and that was he's too emotional and he is not as good as everyone makes him out to be. He leaves his head in the same place that he will throw his punches. So what I mean is he doesn't have any head movement. When you see in the fight, with the second fight with TJ, he's able to roll. Pedro and TJ are able to roll their heads when they throw punches. Cody, however, leaves his head still. So when he leaves his head still, literally when they punch him, they're going to roll under as he throws a punch. But when Pedro or TJ is going to roll a punch, they're literally going to dip their head and they avoid the big punch. And he got knocked out again in the first round. I said it after the second fight. I know it. He will never, ever be the same fighter. That fight takes years off of you. That emotion, that drive. And Pedro, by the way, is underrated for his power and his speed, and he showed it.
Robbie Lawler versus Ben Askren.
So this was between a wrestler and a grappler, and the problem was it was a controversial ending, probably the worst stoppage in MMA history. A bulldog choke is pretty much like if you get your brother in a headlock, right, and you noogie him, almost like in there where you have the neck and you're going to noogie him, but pretty much you're going to close the neck up and constrict his blood flow to go to his head. That's how you choke him. Robbie was in that situation when Ben was squeezing, and his right arm, he looked like he was limp. And from the referee, Herb Dean's perspective, he looked like he went limp. Unfortunately, he was not limp. He was still going. So he popped up 20 seconds, not even 20 seconds after the fight. Literally after the fight was called, he got up and said, beep, beep, beep. I can't say it on air. But he was literally cursing at Herb Dean. And it was really bad. I think they need to redo the matchup because Ben was getting annihilated. And Robbie, he's just Robbie. Kamaru Usman, let me guess.
Yeah, Kamaru Usman versus Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this short and simple. Kamar, it was a 50-44 scorecard, and that's pretty much it. And, yeah, Woodley got demolished.
And the one I did see, John Jones, that was on SportsCenter. I saw that when he defeated Anthony Smith.
Again, the only thing, illegal knee, and that was pretty much it. Like, that was it for that. I mean, other than the illegal knee, it was pure domination. It was all one-sided.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of good fights coming up, too. So.
Yeah, we have Tony Martian versus Sergio Morris, Tim Means versus Nico Price, and Derek Lewis versus Junior Dos Santos. So, with that, we are going to take a 4-minute break and be back. Crescenzo will be back. We're going to talk about MLB. The final of the 2 superstars were signed. We'll fill you in on that when we return.
I'll be right back.
Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Each one of our journeys keeps us before you throw it away.
Hey, I have an idea.
Think outside the box.
We'll never get older. Each one Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
All right, time to talk some baseball now. So, Crescenzo, the last of the 2 superstars is finally signed.
Finally. Holy cow.
Bryce Harper, 13 years.
I literally aged 85 years from waiting for that guy to sign, I swear.
And you're going to be like 185 when the deal's done.
Yeah, probably.
So, 13 years, $330 million, the largest contract ever for MLB.
Yep.
Again, I'll say it, like I said, for the Machado deal. I don't think anyone's worth $330 million. That's just crazy to give one guy that much.
You're saying Mike Trout isn't worth $330 million?
No, no one's.
That is crazy because that guy consistently goes in the MVP top 3. I'm not saying top 5, top 3 every single year.
Oh, no, I think he's the best player in the game.
He is the most worth it.
I don't think anyone's worth hundreds of millions of dollars when there's people starving, you know, in different countries. You know,
right. maybe
I'm looking at it that way.
All right, maybe that way. But I'm saying in the sport of baseball, Mike Trout is way more deserving than both Manny Machado and Bryce Harper combined.
So if we're going based on today's rates, I would give Trout 350, I guess.
I would give him 400, guaranteed.
Yeah, there's rumors that that's going to be the deal.
I think he's going to get +4.
Yeah. But yeah, I said it with the Machado deal. I'll say it for this one. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the money, but I mean, Philly needed Harper just like San Diego needed Machado. They had the money, so they went out and got him. And Philly, I mean, they are on the rise in terms of markets.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad he didn't go, these 2 guys, and even as a Yankees fan, I'm glad they didn't go to New York, Chicago, Boston, LA, because I mean, time and time again, we just see these stars going to these big city, big market teams. So it's nice to see San Diego and Philly.
You got to remember, too, though, Philly used to be the greatest team on the face of the earth with that pitching staff and everything like that. It's been a while since they had this sort of splash in the offseason. I mean, for them to get it now, it's pretty remarkable, and I think it makes the most sense for Harper. And to be honest, I don't like the long-term deals, but if you really have to look at it, it's $25 million annually per year instead of $33 million annually per year instead of, if you put it at, if he got 10 years, but you add the extra 3, and then that way you're able to sign someone else. So it actually works out really in their favor.
And Harper said he doesn't have an opt-out. He didn't want one. Machado has one after 5 years. And Harper doesn't want one, though. He said he wanted to find a team, find a city, and stay there long-term and commit to them. I
don't know if I like that because then he said something about the Nationals. He's like, yeah, we're going to bring it back to D.C. And what
did he say about that?
He said he didn't realize he was playing for the Phillies. He didn't realize. He said it during the press conference. He's like, yeah, we're going to bring the title back to D.C. instead of Philadelphia.
Oh, did he correct himself then?
I don't think so. I think he didn't even realize.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, I saw that part. And that got a lot of news because it makes you question whether he really wants to be there again. And like I said last week, does he really want to be there? I think that was just his only offer. I think Scott Boras ride out the whole offseason with him and all the other free agents and all the other teams. And, yeah, I didn't like that comment, especially how you just signed with them.
Yeah. And speaking of Philly, now there's rumors,
Trout.
Well, yeah, Trout as he's from the Philadelphia area.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's rumors they might go after Craig Kimbrell, too.
That would be a good signing.
That
would be good.
And with that, we might as well just get right into, because we ran a little short last week on so many free agents. There's so many valuable free agents are out there. It's March 5th. I mean, games start in a couple weeks. And I'm just going to run down this list real quick, and then we can talk about them.
Yeah.
So right now, these free agents remain unsigned. Dallas Keuchel, Craig Kimbrell, Gio Gonzalez, Adam Jones, Martin Maldonado, Carlos Gonzalez, Tony Sipp, Adam Warren.
That's crazy. Tony Sipp is crazy. How he's not signed. Yeah. That's crazy.
Adam Warren was signed by San Diego 1 year, $2.5 million.
He just got signed, yeah.
Denard Span's still out there. Ryan Madsen, Evan Gattis, Bartolo Colon, big sexy, and Danny Valencia.
He's the man. I would love the Yankees to sign him again.
Bartolo can never retire.
Yeah, he can't retire. I'm sorry, but he's
45 years old. Still
I hope he gets in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he is, but he deserves to be recognized as one of the best ever.
And Logan Morrison's another one out there too. He was an
All-Star last year, or he got robbed. I think he got robbed of not being an All-Star, which is crazy.
He was an All-Star 2 years ago.
I think he was one. I think it was because of last year, and there was some publicity stunt, and he called out Bryce Harper or whatever, and he was an All-Star. It was crazy how that guy did not make the All-Star team. Crazy.
And I don't think he'll be headed back to Minnesota now because they found.
He was with Tampa.
Well, he was with Minnesota last year.
Oh, last year, 2 years ago. Then maybe it was 2 years ago. I thought he was with Tampa. When Tampa, he had a really, really good year.
He had a good year with them, and with Minnesota. Okay, so 2017, he was with Tampa. He hit .246 with 38 home runs, 85 RBIs.
Yeah.
And then last year with Minnesota, 15 home runs and 39 RBIs. Yeah, I was thinking he was with Seattle from 2014 and 2015.
Gotcha.
And the Marlins with all those years. And then he went to Tampa. That's when he broke out.
Gotcha.
And then he just had a decent year with Minnesota. But they signed Marwin Gonzalez a couple weeks ago. So
yeah. And, I know from doing my research in baseball, I kind of want to go over injuries. One of them is Clayton Kershaw, and this just has to be so concerning because at this point, when is this guy not going to be on the injury list?
I know.
I mean, this guy is just it's so arm. Bad. Is it done? Is the conversation done of him being the best pitcher ever in Major League Baseball right now? Is that conversation over?
I mean, I think it's time to switch it over to Jacob deGrom, Blake Snell.
Yeah.
Corey.
Well, it usually, but because of him being so fluent and so consistent, it was crazy. And then I also want to go over this injury. Luis Severino just got scratched today, and he got an MRI today. He's got rotator cuff inflammation. So that's not good sign. Because
especially this early in the year.
Yeah, and that's his first start. So that's a horrible sign. And now, you know, you're going to have him sit on the shelf for 2 weeks. And
then I saw the Yankees. There are rumors that they might go after Gio Gonzalez. I think that was before the Severino.
That was even before.
Yeah.
So
now
I think
they might
get
actually need him. Yeah.
I think they might get him, depending on the price. If Dallas Keuchel, I mean, I know he's not the same as he was during that Cy Young Award year,
great,
but
though.
he's still, like Michael Kay was saying it earlier in the show, he's still a great pitcher. I mean, it's insane.
He's still one of the best.
It's still, like, I know he's not the best. Like, he still has a 3.45 ERA. That's still a very good ERA, and he can provide that ace stuff when you need it. I mean, if he's cheap enough, I would go after Keuchel. I mean, that's the one guy who's been killing us as a Yankees organization.
Where do you see Keuchel going?
It's tough to say at this point. I mean, and then again, he's with Scott Boras, so that even makes it harder. But I don't know. The one thing I do know is the good hire of Jessica Mendoza, which was that's a really good news for anyone softball. She is a two-time Olympian in softball and ESPN analyst since 2016, and she got signed by the Mets for being a baseball advisor. It makes sense because their softball and baseball are so similar with their swings, their plate discipline, with their fielding. You know, the only thing that's really different is their pitching and the size of the field. I mean, other than that, I mean, you can pretty much just tell who's got a good swing, who's got a good bat, who's got a good arm.
Yeah, and she worked her way up. She did a really nice job on ESPN doing the Sunday Night Baseball, so good for her.
Yeah.
And real quick, I just want to go back to these free agents real quick. I just want to see. I want to get your thoughts on some of these top free agents. So, Keuchel, you said you're not sure. I see him fitting in. Maybe Cincinnati. They were linked to him. I don't know. It's hard to say. Craig Kimbrell. I see him going to Philly. They still have a lot of money left. Gio Gonzalez, Yankees. Adam Jones. I think he'd be great for Cleveland. And Carlos Gonzalez, maybe back to Colorado. But again, we'll just have to wait and see, like we said last week. And we'll just, in a couple of weeks, once we have another show after spring break, hopefully these guys are signed.
Yep.
So, be back in a couple minutes. We're going to talk some football.
I'll be right back. Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the creative galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Each one of our journeys keeps us before you throw it away.
Hey, I have an idea.
Think outside the box.
We'll never get older. Each one Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Welcome back to our last segment, as we are now joined with Aaron Sember, our NFL analyst. Aaron, what are your thoughts on the combine? Because I think we can both agree on one thing with DK Metcalf, but
freak.
Yeah.
Freak of a man. 4.33 40-yard dash. And let's talk about him for a bit. 6'3", like 230 pounds, 1.6% body fat, and he showed everybody that he could be top 10 pick. I think he should be. And in my opinion, I know we're not really like jumping ahead too quick, but this is just like my prediction. I think the Bills will take him because the Bills need a wide receiver one.
Oh, I know.
They've needed one for a long time.
I know.
So that's my opinion.
We need a wide receiver.
Then Nick Bosa, potential number 1 pick, did pretty good. Ran a 4.79 40, and he had 29 reps on the bench press. Obviously, like for the bigger guys like the linemen, offense and defense, like a bench press and like their running is what or for the defense, it's like their running and their like how much they put on bench really shows the scouts like what they can do. So, and recently I've been looking at a lot of stuff, and they were saying that like all I know is that this draft is really filled with a lot of defensive prospects.
Yeah,
like that's what I've noticed. Like, for example, Nick Bosa, the D lineman Quinnen Williams, he's a potential top 5 talent.
Yeah, I watched him this year. He's really good.
And a big thing about this draft class is that these big boys got wheels.
Yeah.
This Quinnen Williams, I think, is like 6'2", 6'3", maybe a little bigger, 305 pounds, running a 4.8 40. That's insane. And then
he's a freak athlete.
Yeah.
Just like Metcalf, just not as much.
Yeah. But there's not a lot of tight ends look too spectacular, but this one guy, I got his name wrong before, but his name is TJ Heckensock. He ran a 4.7 40. Hawkinson. Wow, see, I messed up again. And he got 17 reps on the bench. And I think a team that he would go like great on from day one is Jacksonville, because obviously I don't think they've had a good tight end in years. And
since
so,
Mercedes Lewis,
yeah,
but he wasn't really.
And he wasn't even that good.
He was kind of always injury prone, so.
I think he could be really good on that team. Nick Foles didn't get the franchise tag, so he's in free agency. And
yeah, he's once free agency starts, they're pretty much saying he's going to Jacksonville.
Yeah, so a lot of people moving this year. They today the Ravens released Eric Weddle, which I thought was a very stupid choice.
Yeah.
And also
he is at the end of his career, but he's still one of the best.
Yeah, and also today I saw Landon Collins got released by the Giants, and I'm just thinking, what are the Giants doing?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best,
Yeah, I also think I think this year they're going to go for the Giants, for New York, of course. They're going to go QB, and I think Eli.
They have to.
Eli needs to be out.
Yeah.
This is last year. I'm calling it. And then the thing about people are saying like Kyler Murray can go number 1. I don't think that's a smart choice.
I say, what do you think about that? If you're the Cardinals, are you taking Kyler Murray and trading Rosen, or I mean? Let's not forget, Rosen was a first-round pick last year.
Yeah, but also it's just with all this defensive talent for this draft class.
How can you pass up on?
How can you pass up on
Nick
that?
Bosa, Quinnen Williams,
exactly.
Josh Allen.
That's the thing what I'm talking about. I don't think it's a smart choice. I think Kyler, if Jacksonville doesn't get Nick Foles, I think they should go for Kyler Murray or this Hackinson kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. They need a tight end or quarterback.
Speaking of tight ends, I want to say real quick. So, you're saying where's Hawkinson the best fit? I agree with Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. And obviously, again, the Bills. We only have one tight end right now. It's Jason Kroom, and he's not a number 1.
Yeah.
I think he's a solid maybe 2, probably a 3. But I think he's a fit with the Bills. But the thing is with the Bills, I think tight end is 3rd on our wish list right now. I'm kind of torn because originally I said that I wanted to, if I were Brandon Beane, I would go offensive line because it all starts up front.
Of course, yeah.
And then you work your way out to the outsides and get your wide receiver. But after seeing DK Metcalf, I don't know if you can pass on a freaking nature like this.
If he's still on the board, I think the Bills have the 9th pick. If he's still on the board, take him. That's all I'm saying. They've needed a wide receiver 1 for years now.
Yeah.
I don't think they've had one since Kelvin Benjamin. He wasn't even that good.
He wasn't a 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least he didn't play like it. I guess he was considered. He should have been a 1. But,
yeah, but.
So, yeah, I mean, Hawkinson would be a great fit with the Bills. So would be Noah Fant. I mean, Iowa has 2 great tight ends. But like I said, they need offensive line help and wide receiver help before that. So I don't know exactly. I can see the Patriots getting Hawkinson or Fant. You know they love tight ends, especially the Gronk on his way out. Yeah. Then that leads into what I was going to say next. The Patriots released Dwayne Allen, one of their other tight ends. So, A, Hawkinson or Fant could fit there. Yeah. B, the Bills are actually meeting with Dwayne Allen as we speak. They had him in a free agent visit tonight.
That's the thing. It's just, I feel like the Bills are a very young team. I don't know if that's actually true, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they're very young with their talent. And obviously, a veteran like Dwayne Allen could bring that leadership back, just make them a more solid core.
Yeah, because, I mean, Brandon Beane said it all offseason. You don't want to draft for needs. You want to, draft to fill out your roster because you can't go into the draft needing, okay, we need a wide receiver, a tight end, and offensive line help. I mean, you got to fill these holes in free agency and then patch them up with the draft. And I think Dwayne Allen would be a great signing, and then I think you could find another solid one in the 3rd or 4th round because this tight end class is very deep this year. And then 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round picks. I mean, it's all wide receiver and offensive line for the Bills. But that being said, they are going to do a lot of damage in free agency with 4th most cap space, and they're got a lot of holes to fill. So, like I said, they're going to be doing a lot with the free agency and the draft.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and then, I mean, free agency is starting, I believe, March 15th. Let me just look that up to make sure. But yesterday, Texans put the franchise tag on Jadeveon Clowney. Yeah. So there was that.
That's a great tag, in my opinion.
Yeah. DeMarcus Lawrence got tagged, too, by the Cowboys. And then I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but what do you think about Antonio Brown? Because now I heard there's rumors that the 49ers aren't interested and the Colts aren't interested. So, I mean, where do you think he could go?
I don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait and see because, I mean, it's pretty much in the books that the two sides aren't meeting. Actually, it was pretty interesting because he came out this week saying that, Ben Roethlisberger treats them like kids, and the GM kind of confirmed that. Like, they gave Roethlisberger too much power, and Antonio was just tired of it. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what happens as free agency starts in about a week and a half, mid-March, and it'll start before we come back. So for our next episode, we're going to have a ton of information. There's going to be a ton of free agents off the board, as we'll be back in 2 weeks for our next edition of Sports Hour, as we're off next week for spring break. So have a good spring break, and we'll see you back here in 2 weeks.